Hey guys, welcome to this is the first time I've done one of these. This is a special video. This is a for sale video. And I was inspired to do this because I have a race car here that I think if it's just advertised the normal way, it will be very underappreciated. And as you guys know, I have bought and sold a few race cars over the last couple of years. If you've been watching, it's because I want to help, right? So I want to see these production cars mainly go to homes that are good homes and people that I can work with and people that I know can appreciate the car. And so that's what I'm in this for, right? So I make my money, you know, building all these race cars and building the engines and all of that stuff. But I got a really special car that I just purchased because this car has so many amazing details to it that I wanted to show it in a video. I'm going to list it on the ad that you probably saw that led you to this video. You will see all the things that the car has. But I wanted to do a video about what this car is and what I think and how amazing I think it is. So I'm going to get behind the camera for this. John's not here. This is just like we used to do it in the old days. I am here by myself and I'm going to get behind the camera and we're going to talk about this car because I am stoked about this car. So as you can see, this is an e-production RX7. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of history about this particular car. This particular car was actually Gary Martz's car that he built. So this chassis has been around for a while. It is and I don't know if it's a 79 or an 80, but when we get around to the back of the car, you'll see that there's a slight difference in the license plate area. And then from there, Bill Miller purchased it from Gary, and Bill's owned this car for a bunch of years. And man, we have been developing on this car and developing and developing and developing. So Bill decided that he wanted something different. So he moved on to a different car and sold the car to a fellow that might have had some plans to do something with it. I don't know for sure, but he's an old friend of mine. And he called me about it, and he wanted to know if, you know, I wanted to buy the car. And I, you know, immediately said, absolutely not. I've no interest in buying race cars. I'm super busy. We're coming up on runoffs time. And he really needed some help. And I don't want the word to get out here too much, but I'm a bit of a sucker, you know, when it comes to people that need help. And we came up with an agreement, and I purchased the car. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to rehome this car. So let's go around and let's talk about this car. I'm going to start under the hood, okay? So the job that Bill did I'm going to call it a restoration, because what he did is he took this tub down to a bare tub, and you can see it's painted very nicely. We have a slightly different color, a creamier white under the hood than we do on the outside. You can see it has JRZ front struts, and this is one of my engines. So most people know that I don't really build rotaries anymore. And this is one of the last ones that I built. So this car, what Bill was doing is he was attempting to basically duplicate the car that I built. Remember my Tom Thrash tribute car? So this car was built very similar to that, with a lot of the same components. Now what I mean by that is we've got an engine that is obviously JPM ported. We've got ceramic two-piece apex seals. We have a lightened racing beat assembly, which means lightened rotors, eccentric shaft, things like that. It has a Berg 51 millimeter IDA downdraft. This is all the same stuff that I ran in my RX7. You can see all of the air-equipped hoses Look at the heat shrink over the hoses where it's running down towards in front there for the oil cooler, and we're going to get to the oil cooler. Monstrous dual pass radiator. So you can see what we've got here is we've got the outlet coming in the top and the inlet for the engine in the bottom. That's because this radiator is cut in half. So the water comes across, gets cooled, goes down, gets cooled back on the bottom. This thing has to run a thermostat to keep it cool, and as anybody knows, running a rotary, that's one of the main things that you run into. So this has one of my modified distributors, and what that means is that the internals are locked. And what you can see here is that we're running wasted spark, and what that means is that we're pulling our leading pickup out of the distributor. That is going back to the coil here. Here it is. And then, actually, there's going to be, well, I'm kind of fumbling here a little bit, aren't I? All right. Here we go. So it comes from the distributor. It's coming back to the MSD box, which you can see right here. It's a 6AL. From the MSD box, and this is for leading ignition only. Then it comes to these two blaster coils, and then we go from these coils directly to the leading plugs at the bottom. The pickup for trailing comes up to the regular trailing coil, into the distributor, out of the distributor, down to there. And you can see these are 10mm MagnaCore wires. We've got a spare set of those. Look at the nice, just for the vent, we've got a -8 vent over to the bottle. You can see, I mean, this car is just so nice. A really nice fuel pressure regulator with a liquid-filled gauge. Gosh, everything's just done nice, man. There's our remote oil filter. Oh, one of the things that Bill sourced, and this is like, I don't even know where he found this. This is a brand new steering box. Look at that. It's brand new. He found one, a new old stock one. And look at this bracket that he made. Or maybe he bought this, I don't know. But it's got a nice support bracket that comes into the chassis there. Everywhere you look, this thing is just gorgeous. So there's kind of our under the hood stuff. If we go inside, and he made this, when he stripped this down, he made it very light in every way that he could. Look at the size of this braille. So this is a Group 34 braille lithium-ion battery, because we run total loss, no alternator. But you know what? This thing isn't fuel injected anyway, so a battery like that will run this no problem. We have one of the really big cool shirt boxes that comes with the car, with the cool shirt mount sitting right there. It does not come with hoses, but you can get hoses and a shirt easy enough, right? That's not a big deal. You can see our fire system, and our AccuSump has, looks like about 110 pounds of oil pressure, because it's all filled up. And from this side, okay, there are our brake reservoirs. So 2 for the brakes, front and rear, and then our clutch that run over to a tilt and pedal assembly. Let's roll over to the other side of the car and take a look inside that side. Now this is going to be a Shields front Lexan window, and you know, I think that I might have made these for Bill, or maybe he made them for me for the RX7. But this is definitely a Shields rear glass. So what we actually did was, when I was doing my RX7, we sent a stock glass to Shields, and actually I think Bill and Steve Wolf took it to Shields, which is just south of Indianapolis, and they made a mold so you can see. So a lot of guys run just flat pieces of Lexan back here. This is actually molded just like the stock rear glass is, and it is in pristine condition. So all Lexan. If we look on this side, here's what we're going to see over here. So we've got our switches, pretty simple. Start, ignition, fuel pump, cool suit, rain light. So Bill was doing rain light in the tail before it was even required, which is cool. So we've got our rain light here, and looky here. What is this? You know what's in this car? An Emco EGMT with 1 weekend on it. For those of you that don't know what that is the new Mazda dog ring transmission that I actually helped develop it along with Rob Warkaki, and Emco took an old PBS and redesigned it and made it like new. So some of the things that you can see in here: pull the steering wheel off, quick release steering wheel. We have a Solo 2, which you can see will give us all of our information. We've got our gauges over here, air fuel ratio. It even has brake pressure gauges for your bias. So we've got our bias right here. One of the other things that we did, and I did this probably, and maybe Bill will pipe up, in production you've been allowed to do a drop floor in the last couple years. So we've been doing them a lot in Miatas. And this car, I actually kind of took what I've been doing with the Miatas and made my own drop floor. So you can see this is completely flat, and it's a nice flat floor, whereas these cars, as you can see, had a lot of undulations with the stock mounting. So we've got lots of room for a really big seat that you can bolt down flat here. The belts are expired. You can see June of 2024, so you would need some belts. But we've got looks like a nearly new window net. It's in really good shape. And I have two different seats. So I've got this little Kirky here, and then I've got another one that's for a bigger guy way over there. I'll probably get that out. But, you know, when it comes to seats, people are very particular about, you know, how they fit. You can see arrow catch latches. Now, bodywork wise, this is a good question. I'm trying to rack my brain. I think that this is like I think it's like the Mariah stuff here. And man, for the life of me, I can't remember where these front fenders came from. A lot of guys made these, and I know that some guys in Kansas City made some molds off of those. So you can still get these, but these are all fiberglass, obviously. Oh, one thing I noticed, so here's the hood. This hood is carbon fiber. This thing, I'm going to lift it with like 2 fingers. This thing weighs nothing. It must be, I don't know, 3 or 4 pounds. So we've got nice hold downs for that. Arrow catch latch over here. Okay, let's go to some of the suspension stuff, and then what we'll do is we'll go underneath. So you can see a Willwood brake kit. So this car is taking the weight penalty for the alternate brakes. Aluminum hats and aluminum hubs. I'm betting this is KC Racewear stuff, would be my guess. I don't know 100%, but I'm betting that it is. We've got sphericals for pickup points and correct arms. Look at this stuff. Sway bar, speedway, sway bar, links with adjustment. And then this is something I did on my RX7, and we're going to give away a little bit of a secret here. So the air comes through the front of the car, and half of it goes through the radiator and the other half goes through this dual pass oil cooler. You can see that the inlet and the outlet are over here. That's because, once again, it makes a dual pass across one side, and actually this one has them stacked front to back. That's what this was. It's double thick, and so it goes into the front one, comes across the front cooler, into the back cooler, and in over here. So this is something that I had Fluidyne make for me custom, and man, does this work. And you can see all the nice tin work. So the air exits this way from the oil cooler, comes under the car. Just the bracketry here for the radiator is nice. We're going to move under here in a second, but the other thing I wanted to show you is the split in the front here. See if we can see it. So we've got our screen here. I don't know if it'll show it. There's the splitter. So right here is the leading edge that takes all the air into the oil cooler, and then up there goes to the radiator. And look at all the nice ductwork here. Brake ducts. Here's our air inlet for the air filter for the carburetor, all done up right underneath the headlight. Rear. So this is GSL SE stuff. What is GSL SE stuff? These are the big brakes for 84, 85 first gen RX7. But you can see it's also got aluminum hats, super light. Penske shocks in the back. So why are these wrapped up? Well, that's because the exhaust is right there. So really good heat shielding here. I think he's running, yeah, 250 rear springs, which is kind of what I ran in my RX7. I always ran like 250 rears and 500, maybe 525s in the front. But these are these really nice real wheels, lightweight 3-piece wheels with Goodyear cantilever tires on. We're going to get to the spares package here in a little bit. But I want to get underneath here and show you guys the underside of this car. And normally you would never spend the time to crawl under a race car and show you what's going on. And why is that? Because they are never this pretty. That's why. So here's our EGMT. Look how clean the engine is. Here's the oil pan. There's not a drop on it. We've got our oil out here. Looks like a brand new starter. Here's our air fuel gauge coming down into the exhaust here. But look at this EGMT. IMCO dog ring transmission. Oh, and just like I ran in my RX7, a beautiful carbon fiber drive shaft. Look at this thing. And because it's close enough to the exhaust, this is a heat shield that I always get from DEI. And what it does is it clamps onto your exhaust here, and then it holds this material away from the exhaust by about 1/4 inch. And so all of this heat is protected up for this carbon fiber drive shaft. So it keeps the shaft cool. Now, the other thing that I noticed, and you can still see, I'm going to kind of put this up here and see if you guys can see it. What does that say? 4.1 OSG. And that is my handwriting. This is a 410 ring and pinion, which would basically be from a Miata. OSG stands for OS Geiken, which in my mind is the best limited slip on the market. So, why do we run a 410 where a lot of rotary guys run like 512s and 4.8s? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because with an IMCO transmission, you have a set of drop gears in the back of the transmission. And that enables you to underdrive whatever diff you're running. So currently the car has a 30-34 in the back of the drop for the drop gears, and that is the, so with a 410 and a 30-34, and let's call it 9,000 RPMs for this 13B, gets us to the mile an hour that we needed for, say, Heartland Park or Pueblo or High Plains or you know, Ozarks or something like that. So what you do, if you want to go to Hallett or Elkhart Lake, you change your drop gears. And this is the cool thing about these. So we got 4 sets of drop gears. If you call Mazda and get a set of these drop gears today, they're about $600 a piece. So what this does is this enables you to go to different racetracks, and all you have to do is pull the drive shaft, pull the tail housing off, and these are sitting in the back of the transmission. So you can re-gear, and you never have to change your differential ratio. This is the coolest thing in the world. So this should give you an idea of how good Bill was about keeping spares. We've got 3 tail housing seals. We've got a counter shaft. What is this? Oh, snap ring for the needle bearing on the counter shaft. We've got nuts. We've got drop gear nuts here. Nuts for the tail housing right there. All in this nice little box. That is what I love about these transmissions. So for anybody that has priced one of these MCOs with these drop gears, you know that we are in for about $13,000 just for the transmission and these drop gears. So let's kind of get into spares. You can see a complete set of rear fiberglass here. These things are so light. Really nice, good shape. Obviously just gel coated. These front fenders are not the same fenders as are on the car. And honestly, I don't know what these are. I don't know if these are the Japco stuff or the Mariah fronts or exactly what they are. You can see this one's got tape on it. But they're just kind of spares, right? So it is what it is. Now, to charge this Braille battery, you need the proper Braille battery charger. Here it is. It's like brand new, ready to go. We have a spare 410. So this is, okay, new 410 max clutches, 1 weekend. You can see that the ring and pinion have been rem treated. I probably built this for him, and I just can't remember. What does max clutches mean? This is an RX7 clutch type limited slip. It's not a Torsen. It's a clutch type similar to the OS Geigen, but it is a competition style stock type limited slip. So brake pads, Carbotech rears. This is for the GSL-SE. This is for the Willwood fronts. Now this box is empty, but it tells you what they are. These XP12s, 235s are for the stock calipers, which I do not have. So these are basically of no use to you, but you could sell them to one of your buddies that's running GSL-SE stock front calipers, is what you could do there. So, Penske Racing Shocks box. So what we have here is a bunch of Penske shock parts and pieces. Now, I'm not saying you're going to rebuild these things yourself, but maybe you are, right? If you know how to do it. Here it tells you what they are. The different stacks and shims, O-rings in this nice little box. Penske rear shock spacers. Here's a couple of studs. There's some used studs. There's a bunch of alternate coils that come with this car. Quite a few. So these are going to be for the back of the car, and then there's some more over there for the front. Now, this is something I was really impressed with. Here's a little spares package. So these are kind of always the racing style NGK plugs that we used, but he's got an MSD box here ready to bolt into the car and plug in, and it's wired so everything just bolts right in. A complete spare set of brand new wires for the car. Coil, oil filter, cap and rotor. There's even an oxygen sensor for the O2 in here. Look at all this stuff. And it's organized and it's ready to bolt right in. Okay, over here. More springs for the rear and for the front. Fuel test port hose. And look at this stuff. Rebuild kits for the Willwood calipers, right? Spare master cylinders, spare throwout bearing. These are just some of the extra clutch. Here's a slave in here. Looks like there's 2 slaves in there. But yeah, look at these brand new master cylinders. So you've got spare masters, you got all this spare stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, kudos, shout out to Bill Miller. This guy, man, he knows what he's doing when it comes to, all right, let me set this down for a second. He knows what he's doing when it comes to having spares and keeping a car clean and understanding what it takes to make a car work right, right? So here's the spoiler. It's a plastic spoiler. Zeus is onto the front of the car. And, oh, look at this. A set of Panasports, which are, honestly, they're not the lightest wheel in the world, of course, but they're super strong. And a set of brand new cantilever Goodyear racing slicks. A set of 4 brand new ones. Now, I don't know what this is. This might have something to do with the bumper or the radiator. I'm not 100% sure. We've got what I think used to be, well, this is probably a spare Panhard rod, would be my guess. Maybe that one is too. This might be stuff that don't go in the car anymore, but were part of the development of the car. But you can see it's got an ATL. The thing looks like brand new. It's a pretty big cell. Looks like it's about a 15-gallon cell. And you can get into it right there. I mean, just take a look at how pretty this car is. The paint is gorgeous. The body is gorgeous. It's a little mind-blowing to me. So, somebody is going to get an awesome car. Here's the best part about this car. I only need $22,000 for this car, and you're going to get this whole package, the whole thing. That's going to break me even enough, and I want it to go to someone who can appreciate it. Oh, one thing I missed here. I don't know how I missed it. Spare hood. This is a fiberglass hood. So it's not as light as the carbon fiber one. And then what looks like, so these are Bassett wheels. So these are steel wheels that these rain tires are on. But these rain tires have like no time on them. Still has the titties on them right here. So these rain tires, and they still feel soft. This is how you test a rain tire. You can feel how soft the rubber is. Rain tires, spare hood. So this is why I've created this long, drawn-out video for you guys, because I know somebody that's interested is going to say, hey, can you do this, can you do that, can you take a picture, can you... I know we're coming up on 28 minutes, but this car deserves this. This is a beautiful car. You guys hit me up if you're interested in something like this. You can private message me, you can find me, my email on the internet. It's pretty easy to find me. Google my name. Somebody's gonna get an awesome car for a good price. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night. Okay, guys, no proper for sale ad would be complete without hearing the car run, of course. So, just came down to the shop this morning. It is, as you can see, just got here, 7:30 a.m., not p.m. So the car is completely cold. So we're gonna do a startup and walk around. So, kill switch comes on. Change the dash over to RPM because there's no tracks here. You can see the heaters coming on for the oxygen sensor. You can see we've got, here, pull the steering wheel off, make it easier. No water temperature, no oil temperature. Got good voltage. We've got good pressure in the AccuSump. So, first thing I do is we will turn on the ignition, turn on fuel pump, open up the AccuSump, and watch our oil pressure go up. So what this does, obviously, is this pre-oils the engine. Gonna give it a couple of good pumps. What a beautiful sounding rotary. I actually was talking to Bill just yesterday, and he was mentioning to me how inside of the fuel cell is actually one of those hydro mats. So this thing will suck literally every drop of fuel out of the cell. So that's one new addition that I learned yesterday. But yeah, I think we've covered everything. It's a beautiful car. It is ready to race. We've got tons of spares. And it's only $22,000. Call me, message me, shoot me an email, text me. I'm easy to find. Thanks for watching, guys.